Hello everyone, welcome to the London Resorts Source. This is episode 9, and in this video we're going to have a look at some of the plans that were submitted online.
The plans were accepted, so that just means that they were accepted by the government to be reviewed, so that means they were submitted correctly.
And yeah, we're just going to go through some of the interesting bits we found and see what there is. So we hope you enjoy the video.
Thank you to everyone that's been engaging with us and have subscribed so far. At the moment, we're just a few short of 250. So if you're new around here, please do give us a like and subscribe to us so we can hit that 250 mark.
So without further ado, let's go and have a look at the latest park map. It's sort of an updated, more detailed version of the nighttime map that we saw, which we've covered previously in videos. And yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty spectacular now, isn't it, Nick?
We can see everything here from obviously the main bit we're all interested in, which is Gate 1 over here, which is the part that's going to open supposedly or hopefully in 2024, and then Gate 2 here. So this will be the gate that's planned to open in 2029 currently. So we won't be seeing that for a while, but it's there. And then up over here, we have the Arrivals Plaza. So there's a car park. And also, I think there's going to be a land train that comes into this, or I think they're calling it a people mover in the statement. So that's going to take you, I think, from the park entrance here down to like Ebbsfleet International.
So we just zoomed into the plaza sort of area here, and where the cursor is the hotel, which actually leads into the market above, and the market would be where you'll be able to get food and drink and things like that. That hotel also has the water park on the right. If you can see, it's the enclosed water park, which would be in sort of a glass dome. On the left is the Colosseum. So that'll be where the esports will be taking place, and probably a lot of showcases there for games. And then you've got the multi-purpose building next to it, just below it, which will be for like concerts and maybe premieres of films, those sort of things.
We've also got a few other hotels, so there's actually going to be 4 hotels in total on the site. So as well as this one here, we have a block of hotels here. We have a block here, and then we have another one here. We haven't had too much detail on what the differences are going to be between these hotels, but I've heard from webinars that we've been to about this project that there's going to be like one boutique hotel, one sort of cheaper hotel, and obviously this hotel will have you'll have access to the water park from it as well. So that's probably going to be one of the more sort of expensive ones. In terms of other infrastructure, we have the ferry port here and like a walkway coming down into the park. We have some staff accommodation here down by the south of Gate 2, and then finally here we have a visitor centre where you can come and learn more about the park, and I think that's probably where they'll do recruitment drives and stuff, and there's a training centre right next to it there as well. Pretty huge site, isn't it, Steve?
It is indeed, yeah. And of course, it's only going to be a few years before it's meant to open. So let's just hope that this decision gets made as quick as possible, because they want to get on site and start building.
Yeah, let's have a look now at the timeline to see what we can expect next.
What's interesting here is in 2022 is meant to be the decision by the Secretary of State, and then they're looking to construct and start building Gate 1, which is the theme park and the complex, in 2022 for opening in 2024. So that gives them a 2-year time frame. And I don't know about you, Nick, but I find that a bit tight, really.
I think the crucial thing is how long this decision is going to be taken by the Secretary of State. So it says that it's going to take between 12 and 18 months. Obviously, the plans were accepted for examination late January, so we could be seeing this time next year that everything's been accepted, and then potentially groundwork starting a month or so after, but it could also be delayed. And we've also seen there's been another petition started today by environmentalists who are worried about the impact on wildlife on the peninsula, which is obviously a very valid concern, but we'll have to see how that goes. That could potentially hold things up a bit.
So moving on, if you can see here, this is the parameter plans, which is found again in the design and access statement, because it is probably the most interesting document online. And I think what's an interesting fact that I actually pulled out of the statement was at the bottom here, which says the proposed maximum height parameters for buildings and structures inside Gate 1 range from 40 to 100 meters, which is 131 to 328 feet.
What's the tallest ride we have in the UK at the moment? Is it Stealth or the big one?
It's the big one at 235 feet.
So that's actually 100 foot shorter than what we could potentially see here with these plans.
Exactly. So I think it's time to get excited, because we could potentially be having all this in the UK, which could be roller coasters above 300 feet.
I mean, obviously we might not necessarily get any 300 foot coasters, but it's good to know that they're planning to build fairly high in that Gate 1, because, you know, it just means that we'll see some more big rides in the country, which we really lack at the moment, because there's only really, well, there's two that are above 200 feet and that's it.
Yeah, I think we've touched upon this before, haven't we, that we thought there would be sort of more launch coasters in London Resort, because we were thinking about the air traffic, because it's close to London City Airport and Heathrow. We just thought they wouldn't be allowed to go above a certain height. I mean, I was thinking more about above 100 feet or something, but they have stated in the design and access statement that they can build structures for 325 feet. So I think that's great news, because we could be seeing, like you say, big coasters as we can see here. So
yeah, I mean, obviously there are launch coasters that go that high. Like obviously we've got one here, Red Force.
Yeah.
So it could be that maybe in the back of their minds they're thinking they might do one of these Top Hat style rides, or one of these shuttle style rides like Superman, the Escape at Six Flags.
So as you can see here, this is sort of an isometric of the heights of the buildings and structures within Gate 1, Gate 2, the complex, the whole resort basically. And as you can see, they sort of range from, well, 100 meters, don't they? And then 130 meters. So I think so they're looking for definitely tall structures, I think, within Gate 1 for sure. And then Gate 2, they're looking at probably sort of lower heights, looking at ranging from about 100 feet, something like that. So yeah, definitely expect some tall rides, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting to think where, you know, we've got these cross sections here where they correspond to on the sort of concept art that we've seen. This section here is kind of where they expect the castle to be, and there is, if you look in the concept art, there is a cheeky castle looming in the background. So maybe they're expecting that the castle's going to be nigh on 100 meters, which I think is pretty tall for a castle, so maybe not. But this kind of area here is the sort of medieval land. So if we are going to see a really, really tall coaster, we're going to see it in this part of the park, it seems. But also over here, this was where we were seeing the sort of aisles section of the park. 70 meters is still pretty tall. That's still about 200 foot. So nothing to be sniffing at in terms of heights of the rides. Yeah. And then back over here, we were seeing in this part of the park, the studios section as well, where we had quite a few other coasters on the concept art, which could be going up to 80 meters. So yeah, they're clearly planning numerously fairly tall rides for the park, it seems.
So looking over at Gate 2, which is where the blue sort of shading is, they're sort of a lot lower in terms of height, and we sort of expect that to be because it's close to sort of where the residential sort of houses are, So I think we don't have much information in terms of Gate 2 or the theme park, but we can expect to see more sort of indoor attractions, I could imagine there. One's not so high, but you never know. We might get the odd roller coaster or two. I think it's actually shown in the park map. So yeah, I think that's just something quite interesting to cover.
Yeah, and then I guess the last thing is that we can see the tallest structure on the whole resort is the sort of central spire thing here.
Yeah,
it's about 130 meters, so that's I think around 400 feet. And this spire really is going to be that tool to sort of act as a, I guess, centerpiece for the park, and something that's going to be visible for a number of miles around, so that people are sort of drawn towards the area, and it acts as a sort of visual advertisement for the park, a bit like how Stealth does for Thorpe Park if you've ever driven around there.
Yeah, I can imagine it'd be very lit up at night and look pretty spectacular, and you can see it from quite a distance. So yeah, I think that'll look really good. So I think for anyone who's interested in some early concept sort of sketches, in the design and access statement on page 73, you can see some sort of really colourful sort of early concept sketches, I suppose. And they show sort of the complex area where the hotels are. It's got here the back of house. It's also got that centerpiece sort of structure that we just spoke about in the plaza area, and it's also got the water park as well. There's a couple of pages on this, and I think it's pretty cool to see. It's always good to see like some early concepts images, isn't it, Nick?
Yeah, and now let's actually take a bit of a closer look at the water park, because there's a few really good close-ups that have been included as well.
Indeed. So as you can see here, this is the rendered image of the water park, which is going to be at the hotel. Well, it's going to link between the hotel, which is next to the plaza, and it's also going to be all enclosed, what looks like in a glass dome. So it's going to be an all year round water park. They're showing slides, wave machines, sort of different pools as well. So I think it's going to be a really nice sort of thing to visit, even if you don't want to visit the theme park, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be attached to one of the hotels, so anyone that's a hotel guest can use it. I think that's really the primary sort of way they're expecting guests to use it. But you will also be able to get to the water park as a regular person who's not a fancy person staying at the hotel. So anyone will be able to come and use it. I expect maybe the price will be fairly steep, but I really like the design. I love this avocado, kind of half avocado shape, clear sort of dome thing that they've got going on. And it's really good, obviously, to see that they're planning to build some fairly larger sort of style slides, it seems. You can see on the right-hand side here, there's like slides going from one of the domes to the next to another one, which I think is a really, really nice design feature. And yeah, I'm hoping that this will be probably the best water park in the UK when it's built.
Definitely, yes. It looks very stylish, doesn't it? And I like the idea of all these palm trees, and I'm hoping it's warm inside the dome, because then it will feel like you're on holiday.
Except you're in Swanscombe.
Yeah.
So there's quite a few of these rendered designs in the design and access statement. This one I think is quite an interesting one to look at, because it's a perspective of the sort of central area of the resort that we haven't really seen before. This is going to be the main sort of pay line for the resort. So this is going to be the entrance to Gate 1. And then looking back across, you can see here we have the market, and there's this interesting sort of cutout in the middle where there'll be a tree, and this is going to be sort of a meeting place for people to just kind of meet. And then around the side there's going to be food and beverage stuff, and the design and access statement says that the inspiration is Borough Market, so there'll be like lots of cool places to eat, I think, around there. It'll be really nice. And then looking further back, you have the Colosseum here and the Convention Centre. So this is the gaming in esports arena and the sort of general purpose stadium. The water park here, which we just spoke about, and then looking further back, the spires, the hotel, and the car park. So yeah, I just thought that was an interesting perspective that we haven't seen. And if you want to see some more of these, take a look at the design and access statement, which we've linked to in the description below.
So another interesting document on the Gov website is the funding statement, and as you can see here, there's a chart which basically shows who's involved in the London Resort at the moment. We've got the Kuwaiti company, which we've mentioned before, and it also outlines the directors as well that are involved. Of course, we've got PY Jabot, and we've gone through all the others in our previous video. It mentions other investors that are sort of involved in the investment of the resort, but they wanted to remain confidential. So that's quite an interesting one.
But the important thing is that all of this money is promised and accounted for. Otherwise, they would not have been able to submit plans. So obviously, people have been concerned about how much money it's going to cost and where it's going to come from, but I think it's interesting to see that they've clearly mapped it all out here. It's all under control.
Yeah, I think as time goes on, we'll probably get an idea of who else is actually involved, the investors of the London Resort, and hopefully we'll get a better picture really of things.
Thanks everyone for joining us for another episode of the London Resort Source. We've been really enjoying reading your comments as well, so if you could leave some comments for us today on what you think about the plans, that would be great. And actually next week on Thursday the 18th, we're going to do a special phone-in show where everyone can share their thoughts on the plans and their hopes and dreams for the London Resort. So that'll be on Thursday the 18th at 6:30.
Yeah, we want to get you guys involved, the people watching, of course, our subscribers, because we want to make this sort of a community, and we'll be interested to hear your points really of the London Resort. So you can ask questions or just chat about anything, your own opinion. So we're very much looking forward to it. Should be good.
Yeah, and please do comment your thoughts as well. I think we're pretty good at getting back to people who've commented, and it's just really great to see the number of people that are interested in this project. And of course, if you haven't subscribed, please do. We're nearly on 250 subscribers, and we're really pleased with how it's going. So if you've been enjoying our content, you know what to do.
Yes, thank you. And until next time, goodbye.